one of the worst. Like, that's a good example of in like video game development courses, they need to teach, you know, young game developers what not to do if they're somehow supposed to be rebooting a franchise. That's what they need to, that needs to be the example of what not to do.
The baby, and the baby, for the baby, of the baby, for the baby.
God, that's so weird. I know there's like a small contingent of people who are adamant that game is pretty good. Everyone knows. I don't want to bring him up. Everyone knows about Dobson. Which, if you don't know who he is, he's the creepy fetish comic maker. He's like a creepy 40-year-old guy. Who, God, I don't know if I want to even say the Dobson story. It's like talking about Chris Chan. Like, I don't want to go into a deep dive here. Basically, he's a creepy comic book artist who's very I guess I should just say he's very weird towards women. That's all I'll explain about that. And he loved Other M to the point where he despises people who like Prime. Like, he despises people who like the best game in the series. He's one of those people. I think people explained, like, he associates FPS games with jocks, like high school jocks, and dude bros. And as the theory goes, people think that he probably got bullied by one of these jocks. But yeah, he's the type of person I think of people who Other M was made for. I'll be honest, I haven't played Other M. I've only seen walkthroughs of it, and I think he probably liked it just because of how easy it was. I'll be fully honest about that. I guess not. Usually it tells you, and then I think it gives you a hint, which is what I was kind of hoping would happen. But I guess not. I guess the game is too hard for me. I guess I'm the real Dobson here. For those of you who have no fucking clue what I'm talking about, go to the Tumblr Hypocrisy of Andrew Dobson. Literally just that, Hypocrisy of Andrew Dobson, or just hit Dobson Tumblr. That is an amazing Tumblr. It's run by one guy. I spent like an entire afternoon just reading through it, and he catalogs everything about who Dobson is and why people despise him. Like, he's bullied people. He bullies kids. He's like attacked kids. Like, on his social media. And he's just generally like a hateful person. Like, he's the kind of person I aspire to never be. And he's very egotistical too. He's a very interesting character study. And I don't even mean that in like a bullying way. Like, he has a very interesting mind. And I'm always fascinated by how he thinks and how he acts to people. He is a jerk. Like, he's a bully. But he has like this victim complex. I don't know. I guess I'm talking way too much about it. I probably shouldn't. It's like a topic that no one but me, maybe a few other people are gonna understand. But I wish more people talked about him. To me, he is as interesting as Chris Chan is. He has a lot of interesting stuff about him. Oh, these things keep hitting me. Some birds. Or whatever they are. He's like teleporting bugs. Hello, fairy type. You knew I was talking about Dobson. I was. Dobson has a history with Metroid. And I had to talk about his terrible, terrible tastes in video games. Now I'm just thinking of Andrew Dobson again. I could talk about him all day. Like I said, read that Tumblr. Hypocrisy of Andrew Dobson. He is a fascinating individual. I think he's not as crazy as Chris Chan, but he is very interesting. I love like character studies, like figuring out why a person thinks the way they do. And Dobson is like the best example of just how that like can form in a brain. Yeah, I've mentioned this with Fairy Type before, but I think Dobson had a crush on a girl. That girl left him for like a jock to. I say left him. Dobson had a crush on a girl, and the girl just dated another guy, and he took that. Dobson took that personally. So I mean, let's be fair. He was like a not to be mean, he was a fat nerd in high school. Um, and allegedly the guy that she went with, he was a jock at least, and people have speculated that they were also probably blonde because Dobson hates blonde people like with an irrational, legit hatred, and it is so funny to me, but it makes so much sense. I love that. I just want to dissect his mind, like because we don't know much about him, like his childhood, and I'd love to know what made him the way he is. Because unlike Chris Chan, Dobson isn't mentally ill. Like he can be any one of us. Like we can be a Dobson, as opposed to like a Chris Chan, which you need to have probably be on the spectrum, even be close to. I think that's why I find Dobson so fascinating. But I mentioned the hypocrisy of Andrew Dobson Tumblr. There's also there's also a Tumblr of how not to be Dobson. It's a legit fear that artists have. Like, am I becoming Dobson? Am I becoming too egotistical? By pushing people away? So I find that fascinating. But I think I'm the only person in 2021 who cares about Andrew Dobson. He's just a fascinating individual.